Okay, so very quick message to the buyer who's looking to buy directly from the developer. And generally speaking, you're good to go on your own, but in certain circumstances might be helpful to have an experienced agent, somebody who's got 5+ years in the market with you. I'll give you 3 very quick examples, right? Number one, a colleague of mine just recently rented out a studio in Dubai Wharf. And the reason that studio did not, this is in Culture Village, by the way, an up-and-coming community by Dubai Properties. The reason that studio did not rent out really at a very good price was because it was facing the mosque, right? Whether we like it or not, we're in a Muslim country, so we have mosques everywhere, and that's perfectly fine. But sometimes tenants don't prefer an apartment that's very close to the mosque. It could be because of the call to the prayer 5 times, etc., etc. They don't want to be disturbed, you know, so on and so forth. So you might not get a very good rent for that kind of an apartment. And the person who's supposed to point that out to you when you're there buying is the actual agent, because he's going to tell you, look, let's go look at the master plan and then look at where all the community facilities and the amenities are. That's number one. So this is something that wasn't done 4 years ago, and now that the owner's taken ownership of the apartment, there's not really much you can do, right? You kind of live with it. Recently I spoke to a buyer who said, look, Fahd, I want something that's on a generally higher floor. So let's say about 7th or 8th floor. And I explained, and he said, look, I do understand as the higher you go in terms of floor, the higher the price is in Dubai. That's the general trend, right? So every floor might be a 5,000 to 10,000 to 15,000 dirhams increase, depending on where the building is. But I explained to him that, look, generally most towers have podiums. So the first 2 or 3 floors are actually podiums. So there'll always be a P1, P2, P3. So if you buy an apartment on the 5th floor and the building has a podium, 3 podiums, then your 5th floor apartment technically is on the 8th floor. So you don't need to go for an apartment that's on the 8th floor. A 5th floor apartment will just be as high as you would want an 8th floor to be. But the 5th floor apartment might be slightly cheaper, and this is something that you can be taking benefit from, right? It's sort of like a blessing in disguise, something that you take away with you. There's tons and tons of examples where a serious, senior, experienced agent can actually help you with the developer. If you actually went on your own, you might not be able to get that benefit. So if you are working on your own, consider, and it doesn't have to be me, consider a good agent, somebody who's been in the market long enough so they know what they're talking about. Recently, another buyer was about to buy an apartment. It's a 1-bedroom, 600 square feet net area, or 650. That's a little bit of a small 1-bedroom. I'm not going to name the developer, right? I don't want to shame them. The balcony is 200 square feet. So almost 30% of your apartment equivalent is what you get as balcony as well. So 600 plus 200 square feet, they're going to sell you 800 square feet anyways, but 200 square feet is the balcony area, and that's not necessarily livable, but you're still going to pay for it. And you got to watch out for this, because generally speaking, a good decent balcony size is 200 square feet or 150 square feet, where the apartment's 1,400 or 1,500 square feet. This is good, right? If you're paying for an apartment which is 800 square feet, out of that 200 is balcony and only 600 is net livable, guess what? Once those apartments get handed over to you 2 or 3 years from now, you're not going to command the same rent that other 1-bedroom apartments are in that area. So just watch out and be a little bit alert and hire somebody to be on your side as your advisor representing you.